Hello and welcome to the talkSPORT Goals preview show brought to you by Final One Standing, new from William Hill, 18 plus, gambleaware.org. I'm Sam Ellard, and joining me to look ahead to all of the Premier League games this weekend is Lee Phelps. Lee, hi. Let's start always, shall we, with Final One Standing. Come on, game week 9 in the Premier League from the original Final One Standing. How many are left?
Yeah, can you believe we're getting down to less than 5,000 left now in that big £500,000 jackpot? We started out with 300,000 and this week looks really interesting. Yeah, really interesting. We've got there's a new £20,000 game launched this week as well. Deadline for that is 3 p.m. But if you're involved in any of the other leagues, deadline 8 p.m. Friday. Get your picks in. You're getting down to the nitty gritty here, Sam.
5,000 left in the original one. Oh, some of the picks for game week 9, nearly half the teams used are going to be. This is the drama. This is what we love. Final One Standing, Lee, and that's why we love William Hill. Lee, let's go game by game, shall we? As we always do every Thursday on the talkSPORT Goals preview show. Try and pick out some prices that might tempt our viewers. Leeds West Ham, Friday night, 8 o'clock. 16th v 19th. West Ham just one win this season. Still looking for their first win under Nuno Espirito Santo. And despite West Ham being really poor this season, Lee, I'm still surprised to see West Ham against a newly promoted team who aren't in great form themselves, as big as 3-1?
You've just got to ask yourself, do West Ham win more often than that in your mind?
I think they do, yeah.
They have been poor, admittedly, but all the points that they have collected this season have been on the road. Now it's only 4. Decent record at Leeds as well. 1-2 and drawn 2 the last 4. Maybe it is a stretch though, Sam. I mean, Leeds did beat Everton 1-0, drew with Bournemouth and Newcastle. So maybe the draw. We say draw about Leeds every week, but maybe the draw again. I know, and I also know I sound like a Dominic Calvert-Lewin fanboy on goals if you're a regular viewer, but he's due one. And this is his favourite opponent. 6 goals in 13 appearances against the Hammers. A DCL header, 11-2, boosted from 4-1. And Jared Bowen to score first has been boosted from 17-2 from 7-1. So a couple of goal scorer bets there. But yeah, I wouldn't put anyone off going for West Ham at 3-1, but I think draw. And remember, Final One Standing picks
calling him DCL, by the way.
I just thought I'd abbreviated it in my notes, and I just thought it just kind of came
him
out.
And Tom Davis out and about, in your unique clothing, giving it the big and unbelievable, Lee. You're a different man, aren't you, away from the talkSPORT Goal Show? That's Friday night, 8 o'clock. Live radio commentary of that, by the way, on talkSPORT. Just 2 3 o'clock games on Saturday. Chelsea, Sunderland, Chelsea 5th. They won their last 2 league games. Also a win in the Champions League in the week, thumping Ajax 5-1, Sunderland 7th. What a start to the season for them. Back in the Premier League already, 4 wins this season, including last weekend's game against Wolves. Only Man City, though, have earned more home points in the Premier League in 2025 than Chelsea. Their only defeat at Stamford Bridge this calendar year coming against Brighton last month. I think we both fancying Chelsea here, Lee, to carry on their decent recent form.
Yeah, a bit short, aren't they, at 2-5? But like you said, they're good at home. They beat Liverpool, smashed 10-man Ajax to bits. Esteval's playing really well, isn't he? He's well worth staying on the right side of, I think. As is Matt Gay as well. 3 shots against Forest. Esteval has 3 goals in 5 games for club and country, and he only started 2 of those games, by the way. The others were subs. He scored in both starts, obviously for Brazil and for Chelsea. So I'd be looking at those. If you're doing a bet builder on this game, I'd be looking at sticking those in there. Sunderland's decent start has featured 4 of their points been got away from home. They won at Forest and had that commendable back to the wall draw at Palace, but I think this is a different kettle of fish. We wondered whether Chelsea would be able to cope with a kind of a physical approach last week, and they did. Esteval to score is 2-1. You get impact sub on that as well. So if he goes off and someone comes on to replace him, then they carry a bet on. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that, but I think we all know that Chelsea are going to be in pretty much every acca.
Yeah, I like Chelsea this weekend. I think they're looking in good form even without Cole Palmer. And I think Sunderland are going to get most of their points this season at home against teams like Wolves and West Ham and Brentford, who they're taking points from this season. The other 3 o'clock game on Saturday is Newcastle Fulham. Newcastle going well in the Champions League, 6 points from their first 3 games, beat Benfica in the week, but just 2 wins from 8 in the Premier League this season, 14th in the table. Fulham 1 place, 1 point below them. Newcastle winning just 2 of their last 10 Premier League games, and both those victories against sides that are currently stay in the relegation zone, Wolves and Nottingham Forest. But no side has kept more clean sheets in the Premier League this season than Newcastle. So with that information, I'm going for a low-scoring home victory here, Lee. Perhaps a 1-0 Newcastle victory with Voltemada on the score sheet.
Oh, I like the form you're in at the minute. I like that a lot.
Here we go, Lee. Let's do this.
They're 8-13 Newcastle, which I don't think is a bad price. Fulham 4-1, and the draw 29-10. So this is another away team who are over 3-1. You've got to make your mind up. Do you think Fulham can Fulham go there and win? Now, Fulham did the double over a much better Newcastle last season. Not a great start for Eddie Howe's men, as you mentioned. They've won 4 and lost 3 at home. Now, the losses were to Arsenal, Liverpool, and Barcelona. They've beaten Benfica, Forest, Bradford in the League Cup, and Wolves, scoring 10 and conceding 1. So you just got to make your mind up where do Fulham fit in that. And obviously, I think we'd all say they're not Arsenal, Liverpool, or Barcelona. So you'd expect Newcastle to win this game. And I think what you said is, it's a fair shout. A low scorer. They don't concede goals. It's whether Fulham can grab one, I guess, isn't it? That's when it starts to Newcastle have to come out then and score a couple. Fulham aren't in great form. Lost the last 3. Lost the last 3 on the road as well. I like the fact that Newcastle haven't been great, but Gordon, Barnes, Murphy all playing well. Murphy assists, been doing really well. He scored 3 times against Fulham, by the way, as well in his career. So I think again, it might be one. It's definitely going to go in Ackers. I think Newcastle will be another one that goes in the Acker with Chelsea. But I think if you put in a bet builder together here, you might not go goals, but you might go shots on target, because Gordon is a great one for shots on target. He doesn't necessarily get the return that Geordie fans would hope he would, but he still, still has a pop. And obviously Barnes in good form and Murphy on assist. I think I'd be looking at shots on target and a bet builder with a Newcastle win and a low scoring.
Nice, good stuff, Lee. United Brighton Saturday 5:30. Thanks to 2-0 win against Sunderland and the 2-1 win against Liverpool. United won consecutive Premier League games under Ruben Amorim for the first time. But Manchester United have lost 6 of their last 7 games against Brighton. Brighton, though, familiar, frustrating team, really unpredictable. Not sure what you're going to get from Brighton week to week. They've kept just 1 clean sheet in their last 20 Premier League games, but have lost just 2 of their last 13 games. I think, not sure what I'm going to get from Brighton. We know United as well can be quite inconsistent. So therefore, for me, I like sitting on the fence here and going for a score draw. Yeah,
I can see that. The draw itself is 27-10. The score draw is 100-30, so it's like 10-3. So it's like I don't disagree with that at all. The record, as you said, against Man United has been really good. Won the last 3 head-to-heads at Old Trafford. Danny Welbeck, we've watched him on goals, haven't we, and been impressed by him. 3 goals and an assist against United in recent seasons. He's 9-4 anytime. Brian Mbeumo scored against Liverpool, of course, and he's got 3 goals and 3 assists in his last 4 against Brighton. He's 19-10 anytime. So again, if you don't like picking a result in a game like this, and that's fine, then again, bet builders or goal scorers is the way in. And I think there'll be plenty going on in this game. It's not going to be a 0-0 drab draw. So I think you can go with a bet builder and look at some of those goal scorers, either shots on target or goals. You've got plenty of good attacking players for Brighton. And we know Man United on the day can trouble someone. I think both teams to scores a play, but tough one to pick in terms of the outright there. I'd probably just go with score draw.
That's the 5:30. We've got a nice little treat Saturday night. We've got an 8 o'clock game, Brentford v Liverpool. Liverpool, of course, had lost 4 in a row for the first time since 2014, but bounced back pretty well in the week, beating Frankfurt in the Champions League 5-1. So Liverpool have lost their last 3 Premier League games. Brentford have won 2 of their last 3 Premier League matches. I think Brentford, Lee, maybe better than what some people thought they were going to look at the start of the season. But with Liverpool scoring, Ekitike in the score sheet in the week, Wirtz, some assists, looking not quite back to their best yet, but looking a lot better. Is the away win the right way to go here, do you think?
Yeah, again, it'll be going in the Ackers, won't it? I mean, if we've got to this stage and all the other favourites have landed, there'll be some nervy traders. We've not had the best of weeks as it is. We've had epic boost landing all over the place, loads of goals, favourites winning. So yeah, it could be a difficult Saturday. Again, I'll keep the violin for the lament for William Hill down there.
Stop searching for sympathy, Lee. You're not going to get it, mate.
That's fine. But yeah, they should win it, shouldn't they? I mean, just speaking of epic boost, on the TV Premier League games, the main games this weekend, you'll have an epic boost on those. So like I said, they've been landing. I think we've had, as we record this, we've had 5 of the 6 epic boosts midweek land. So yeah, look out for that. It'll be, be an interesting one, I'm sure. 100-30 Brentford, Liverpool 7-10, the draw 3-1. Again, another team who are over 3-1, but are Liverpool back? Has that midweek win given them the confidence they need? Now, it's interesting when you look at the stats of those defeats. It's not like they've been poor in attack. They have been creating big chances. They've been having shots on target, Sam. You'll know this. You've watched them closely. It's just that they haven't been able to convert. Suddenly, Salah, obviously Isak, whether it's Gakpo, whether it's Ekitike, haven't been scoring the goals in the Premier League. Have they just unlocked that now with that European performance? I like both teams to score. Only City have stopped the Beast scoring at home. Liverpool's defence is creaky. Liverpool to win and both teams to score is 2-1. They're now third favs for the title behind Arsenal, who are odds on, and Manchester City. They need to get back on it in the Premier League, don't they?
What price for the title, Lee?
This is a 4-1. Now, I mean, I know you're waiting for them to get bigger and bigger, aren't you? So you can back them at some point. What's the price where you'll go?
I know form isn't great at the moment. I get that, but I still think for a team that has as many good players as Liverpool, I think that's quite a nice price, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's just, what's the point where you're going to back it? Like, how, as a Liverpool fan or just as a punter who's looking for value there, how long do you wait before you go, right, that's it? And it might be that 4-1 is the point where you go, that's it. Because if they win again this weekend and win well, then suddenly they get back on track. Then that 4-1 will disappear, and you'll be saying, "Oh, do you remember when they were 4-1 in October?" So yeah, but I think they win this, but I'm not absolutely convinced.
So we are 5 games down. We've got 5 to go. This is the talkSPORT Goals preview show brought to you by Final One Standing. It is new from William Hill, 18 plus, gambleaware.org. It is the talkSPORT Goals preview show brought to you by Final One Standing, new from William Hill, 18 plus, gambleaware.org. We've done 5 games. Let's go to Sunday. We've got 4 2:00 games, Lee, on Sunday. We're doing a Sunday show, aren't we, this weekend on talkSPORT Goals. I love a Sunday. We've got a nice 4:30 game to look forward to and plenty of games at 2:00, including Bournemouth v Forest. It'll be Sean Dyche's first league game as Forest manager against a Bournemouth team that are going very, very well in the Premier League, third in the table. Bournemouth unbeaten in their last 7 Premier League games. It's the longest current ongoing run in the competition, and Forest winless in their last 7 Premier League games. Bournemouth to win?
Yeah, 7-10, same price as Liverpool as we record this to win their game. Forest 18-5, so over the 3-1 mark. Draw 14-5. Bournemouth account for over 40% of the Final One Standing picks in the $500,000 game this weekend, which I think says more about Forest than it does about them. What we're going to get from Sean Dyche here, he's had less than a week with them. As we record this, they're in Europa League action tonight.
Yeah.
Surely they'll be harder to beat than they have been in recent weeks.
You'd hope so.
Surely that's a given. The problem is that Bournemouth have goals in them and so much confidence, and they'll be fresh, won't they, going into this? They scored 3 last week. Semenyo didn't even score. Scored 3 the week before against Fulham, 2 the week before against Leeds. Why don't they score goals against this Forest side? Krupi obviously came, to his own, scored, goals already this season. Kluivert, we know, scores. Obviously Semenyo, all dangerous, all worth looking at for shots on target in a bet builder. I just don't see how Bournemouth don't win this, other than the fact that it's the Premier League. But there's too much against Forest, I think.
Yeah,
even with Dyche taking
Bournemouth...
I can't say, new manager bounce. I just don't think that. I just don't. That's not a thing, is it? When you've been away, you've played in Europe.
Is that proven in football? I'm not sure it is, right?
It's true when it lands. If they win this, everyone will go, it's new manager bounce. But if it was a straightforward week where Dyche had a few days with them, yeah, fine. But they're playing in Europe on the Thursday night. Bournemouth have just been training. Bournemouth have to. Surely they win this, and over 40% of those Final One Standing players will be desperate for them to win it as well, because they'll get through to the next round of that 500k game. Looking forward to it though. Cracking game. I love watching Bournemouth at the minute. Yeah,
they're a fun team to watch, aren't they? Especially Semenyo has had such a good season. Arsenal Palace. Also Sunday, 2:00, of course, Arsenal top of the table. So 3 wins from 3 in the Champions League. Only conceded 3 goals in all competitions quite remarkable. Palace 8th in the table, just one defeat this season. Palace have won just one of their last 14 away league games against Arsenal back in April 2019. Of course, Arsenal here are going to be quite shortly. What's the value bet then, do you think?
Yeah, they are short. 2-5. Palace 6-1. The draw 100-30. I think, again, that when I say 6-1, I think people will go, Palace 6-1. But hard to put anything up other than an Arsenal win, isn't it? Yeah. As you said, for all those reasons you just mentioned, goals all over the place. I just wonder whether there's an argument for a goal for Palace here. Can we squeeze in an Arsenal to win and both teams to score? Another team who, as we record, are playing in Europe tonight, so they haven't got the squad to go back to back and get a result at Arsenal, I don't think. Mateta, we're led to believe he was a supposed target for Mikel Arteta in the summer, in great form, of course. 11-4 to score at any time. Don't mind it. But yeah, Arsenal to win and both teams to score 2-1 is probably where I'd go. But they're not conceding many goals, so it's a tricky one.
I don't think Arsenal are going to concede another goal for the rest of the season, Lee. I mean, they just look, they're a good cheat code defensively. Best goalkeeper, the back four solid. They've got Zubimendi's looking unbelievable in front of the back four. They've got strength and depth defensively. I think I'm giving up on Arsenal conceding a goal for the rest of the season.
Arsenal to win to 0 is 7-5, so that might be a way in as well.
That is, I like that more than Arsenal and both teams to score, I think. Villa City, Sunday, 2 o'clock. Really tasty game this. Villa won their last 2 home league games against Man City after a 5-game winless run to start this season. Villa have won their last 3 league games, including Spurs away Sunday just gone. Man City, they've won more points in the Premier League than any other side since April. And of course, that guy, Haaland, just scoring goals for fun. That also feels like a little bit of a cheat code. Intriguingly, how and where you see this game going?
Yeah, well, Aston Villa are just a smidgen under 3-1, 29-10. City 17-20 odds on, and the draw 11-4. Really, really interesting game. I mean, we have got some brilliant games for goals on Sunday because I can't wait to watch this. You know, Villa are starting to play well. Obviously, another team who are playing in Europe as we record this tonight. So, and that's in the Netherlands. So it's another quick turnaround, and probably not as well equipped as their illustrious opponents. Both banging form. But goals win games, don't they, Sam? And Haaland,
they do.
Like you say, cheat code. It's just like you can't envisage him playing a game of football without scoring a goal at the moment. So just because of Haaland, I think you'd have to go with City. Again, another one for a bet builder. I think it'll be open. I think it'll be good. Rodgers to score or assist in a bet builder. I can see both teams to score. Despite Pep's side not having conceded in the last 3, I think Villa will have a go at home. I think they have to do that. So yes, I think, and having Haaland in there somewhere, we said it last week, but if you can figure out the supply line to Haaland, then that's a nice way in. And you're getting your assists. The assists in that market are always decent price, especially if you can find one who consistently supplies. It's everyone at the moment because he's scoring so many goals. You only have to flick it forward and he just bangs it in somehow, doesn't he? So, but yeah, I think it's a one for a bet builder, but City go in the Acca with Arsenal.
A big game at the bottom of the table, also on Sunday at 2 o'clock. Wolves Burnley, it's 20th versus 17th. Wolves 20th, but 5 points already separating the two sides. I think Wolves got to be a little bit careful now. The gap already is starting to build between them and 17th. They're still yet to win this season. Both of Burnley's Premier League wins this season have come against their fellow promoted clubs at home, beating Sunderland and Leeds at Turf Moor. What do you reckon, Lee? Can Wolves finally get their first league win of the season?
Well, I'm going to ask you a question, Sam. Would you back Wolves at odds on?
No, thank you.
Burnley are 3-1.
So well, I mean that feels very nice for Burnley, doesn't it?
Yeah, the draw 23-9. Now, obviously, the draw is probably the most likely result there, but Burnley at 3-1. I mean, yeah, proper
Why are Wolves
6
so
points.
short?
Who, Wolves?
Yeah.
Well,
odds on. I hope.
Burnley have lost all 4 away games, haven't they? At Spurs, at Man U, unlucky. At Man City, naive. At Villa. So,
tough away games, though.
Yeah, 3 decent teams there. You wouldn't class Man United in that bracket. So, yeah, it's almost like you've looked at it and thought, well, Burnley shouldn't be that sort of, they shouldn't be a decent price. I think they're a bit big. I do think they're a bit big. I think they've showed us, haven't they? Maybe there's been a slight overreaction to how well they've played, but they've showed everyone that they are capable, and Wolves just seem bereft of confidence. Obviously, the fact that it's home plays into there, but look, I wouldn't put anyone off going for, Burnley at 3-1. But, we've said it a few times, today, but I think probably the score draw as well, maybe a 1-1 is something you could probably look at. I'd rather go for Burnley at 3-1 because it's a bit more adventurous and we'll be watching it on goals. So I'll stick with Burnley 3-1. They win it narrowly.
Nice. Well, with your theory of any teams at 3-1,
got to go for it. This is a classic.
Yeah,
this is a classic version of that.
We then moved to Everton, Spurs, Sunday 4:30. The Spurs are a strange team where if you look on paper at where they are in the league and how they're getting on in the Champions League, you think that there should be a feel-good factor around them because on paper they're going okay. But yeah, apart from City away where they're really impressive, I think it's been a real struggle for Spurs this season. I don't think they're playing well in games. They were really poor against Villa. They were poor again in the Champions League against Monaco. Lucky to get a point. I just think Thomas Frank, very early days, I think Thomas Frank's a great coach and is going to get it right. I just think at the moment, in particular in that midfield, he's not quite sure on what the best combination is. He's not best. He's not sure how to get the best out of Xavi Simons. Of course, we know they're missing players in attack in Solanke, Kulusevski, Maddison. So I don't like Spurs at the moment. I think Everton started really, really well. And I fancy the home side here.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's weird, Tottenham, isn't it? Because when they're not losing games, they're drawing games, but there's not enough wins in there, is there? They beat Leeds and won in the League Cup. It's just not enough at the moment, and that's why Everton are favourites here, 13-10 at home.
Wow.
Obviously, the new stadium. Tottenham just under 2-1 at 19-10. Again, people will look at that and think I'll have a go at that. The draw 23-10. I think there are a lot of prices, this weekend that you can be tempted by and put up a good argument for. And even some of the shorter prices aren't too bad either. You're looking at the likes of 8-13 for Newcastle and the like. But yeah, I find it hard to argue against Everton. Grealish should be back. He's had a holiday, hasn't he? He's had like a 3-week break.
Yeah.
Grealish. So if he's back and firing, then obviously you'd want to get him involved in the assist markets. If you're putting a bet builder together on this one, he's been everything that's good about Everton as we've seen so far. Look, they've not been in great nick themselves. That's the problem. Obviously they beat Crystal Palace, ended that run for them, but around that, there's not many wins at all. Last time they won was at Wolves. So I'm not massively confident in Everton again. I mean, we always sound like a stuck record. I think it's because you don't like, going one side or the other. But again, the score draw looks highly probable.
Yeah.
I think, it's another classic game, as many of these are for bet builders. I don't think it'll be a boring game. I think both teams will go after it. And I think, we know that they've both got players capable. It's just that front line for Everton just worries me so much. And I know it does you as well. Have Tottenham just got one more goal in them than Everton? Can you see a Tottenham 2-1 or even a 3-2 win here? And I think at the prices, I'd probably just edge Tottenham.
Good stuff, Lee. If it's okay, can I ask you about the Championship? Because I'm absolutely loving the Championship this season. I think something that lots of people have picked up on in the last sort of week or so is lots of the teams that were kind of pre-season favourites, Sheffield United's, your Ipswich's, Southampton's, a little bit Leicester as well, haven't had a good start to the season. And the top sort of 6 to 8 at the moment is really, really fun, with Coventry, Borough, Millwall, Stoke, Bristol City, QPR, all having really good starts to the season. I think that lots of people like seeing, different teams up there and maybe making a charge for promotion. So I'm fascinated to know how you guys have got sort of promotion odds as we kind of enter the first quarter of the season.
Yeah, promotion itself, 100-30 on Coventry, so 3-10, obviously tearing up at the moment. Middlesbrough and Ipswich are both 5-4 for promotion, then 4-1 for Birmingham, Leicester and West Brom. Bristol City 5s, as are Southampton. Millwall 7s, Stoke 8-1. QPR you mentioned 28-1 at the minute for promotion. Now there's another market which is top 6 finish, so obviously effectively either automatic or get in the playoffs. And I think probably if you're looking at teams like QPR who are 8-1 to finish in the top 6, you might not want to back them for promotion, but that's probably the market for you. I mean, Sheffield United are 9-2 to finish in the top 6 still, by the way. Southampton, Stoke, Millwall, all 15-8, 7-4 Birmingham, and then you get to the shorter prices around Bristol City, West Brom, Leicester, all around the 6-5, 11-10 mark. Ipswich, Borough and Coventry, heavy odds on to finish in the top 6. Fascinating division, as always.
Yeah, love it, mate. Absolutely love the Championship, particularly this season. Been a really fun start to the season. Lee, top man, I'll see you on Sunday, not Saturday. Make sure you're there Sunday, not Saturday.
Can't wait. I'll make sure I'm there.
Good man. And thank you for watching the talkSPORT Goals preview show. And make sure you join us from 2 o'clock on Sunday on the talkSPORT YouTube channel and on your smart TVs. We'll keep you across all of the Premier League action. 5-game Sunday should be a belter. We'll see you there.